my name is Jason Coghlan. I'm from England, so I'm a friend of Peter. We're actually family, and we've been speaking about me perhaps coming along to the college and talking to you young people for a couple of years now. We actually made an attempt at doing it through Skype over a year ago. That wasn't very successful. I'm here on business now in Bangkok with my law firm, and we saw an opportunity, so that's why I'm here this morning to speak to you. You're going to have to forgive me for referring some notes, because we've done this at short notice. I wrote this a couple of days ago, just to make sure that I get some salient points across to you all, because I don't want you to miss anything. So, thanks again for inviting me to this prestigious Chonburi Technical College. You all look very nice and smart. It's a beautiful building. Jan A, thank you very much for the invitation. One of the differences that I noticed straight away in schools here, this particular school, is the way that the children, you'll forgive me for calling you children, you're young people, the way that you all present yourselves very smartly, even at this level. You've gone up to what we would call 6th grade now, I believe, and that's impressive. It's smart. I think it takes you forward in life. Takes you forward in life to make sure that you do present yourself smartly, notwithstanding the fact that I'm dressed very casually today. In 2013, I was contacted by the biggest independent documentary filmmakers in the world, Vice. Now, I understand a lot of you have seen the film Vice, my documentary film, which has now got a couple of million hits. We get a lot of compliments on that every day through the website in the business. I jumped at the chance to be involved with the film because, not least because it's a good commercial opportunity, but also because I was humbled. I was humbled by the fact that such a massive organisation as Vice were recognising what I was doing, what I'd turned into, because my story is a great turnaround story. When I was young, I was never going to, it never looked like I was going to be the owner of an international law firm. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that later. But now I have got this law firm, and it's been running for 8 years. We also do criminal defence and civil litigation. The CEO of Lawbird, which is a very famous law firm, is a great friend of mine, a guy called Antonio Flores. He's a famous lawyer in Spain. In fact, last year he was voted the most handsome and well-dressed lawyer in the whole of Spain. Anyway, it certainly was never going to be me. But we've decided at Lawbird that what we're going to do now is open a charity. We're going to start supporting young people who get in trouble, and therefore, like speaking to you young guys now, hopefully, and I'm sure none of you are going down a path like that, but in more deprived areas, this is a beautiful private school, in more deprived areas, people have less opportunities. That's the same in Thailand, the same all over the world. So people with less opportunities tend to gravitate towards making mistakes, crime, just the way it is all over the world, as I say. I was born in 1970, it's a long, long time ago, in Stockport, Manchester, which is in the north of England. My father was a soldier, and my mother was a 17-year-old housewife. Then a couple of years later, I had a younger brother, Aaron. Aaron came along, but there are some problems, or there used to be, in the south of Thailand, between Muslims and other faiths. Well, we have the same type of thing with Protestants and Catholics in Northern Ireland, and it's something that's gone on for over 100 years. That's the situation and the accommodation if you're a soldier and you get killed, they don't keep your wife in the army accommodation. We got sent then to a very deprived area of Manchester, and I was never a good kid. I'm not gonna make excuses about that. I was the kind of guy who went out stealing apples from trees in other people's gardens, type of discipline, not applying myself properly, not realising the great benefit of education. You guys are getting a fantastic education here in this prestigious private school, and that's an opportunity. But sometimes, sat where you are right now, it can be difficult for you to understand maybe just how important that is. But later on, going forward in life, you will realise the best in the girls, who all really thought I was just a class clown, as indeed I was. But what saved me, and one of the things that we're going to be using with friends of mine, boxers. I've been a boxer since I was playing boxing. In Manchester, I started boxing at 12 years old, and I boxed until I was 17. And I had a good fight record. But that was the only thing I was any good at. Apart from lucky enough to get in to be a serving soldier in the world famous British Royal Marines. And still, unfortunately, I wasn't ready. Still too wild, still too stupid. And not from that time on, if I was a bad boy, then I became a very bad young man. I started. Crime is a horrible path, and it's a very silly path to go down. I'm sure you don't need talking out of it. I'm just telling you from my experience. And I was put into prison. I was put into prison for 12 years. I'd already spent a lot of time in prison through my 20s, in, out. But 12 years is a long time to sit in one place. Sit in a place, having to come to terms with yourself, with the there is something about it. The last thing I was short of is time. After the first couple of years in prison of messing around, not concentrating as usual, I then decided I am going to concentrate, I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn the law. I've got no money, I'm sat in prison, no money, no opportunity to earn any money, so I can't afford to employ a lawyer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to learn law myself. It's a international institution. My vocabulary expanded. There's something called the Times Law Reports, which exist in the Times, and that was beneficial to my studies with the law. And that's how I spent the next 6 years. I did up to A-level standard while I was in prison. But more than that, I got a passion for the law. And what I did is I acted as a litigant in person. That means that if I was dissatisfied, if there was failings within the prison system, then I would challenge the prison authorities, and I would give them an opportunity to put things right. That's the way things are done in civil litigation. You offer somebody, you write a letter, you offer somebody the opportunity to put things right themselves. If they don't, as part of a bureaucracy, prison service, they tend not to, they tend to think you'll shut up and go away. That's not what litigation's about. You've got to pursue it to the bitter end. So, I sued the prison service 5 times, and I won 5 out of 5. I was impressed. Every time that I did win a case, it inspired me to learn more, to expand my knowledge. And by doing that, and by practicing and helping other people who were at school, who were in prison, what I managed to do is develop a genuine passion for the law. So that when I came out of prison at the age of 37, I was finally in a position where, hopefully where you guys are now, ready to go out into the world, contribute something, and offer something, get something out of life yourself. That's what I did. And then I travelled to Thailand. I'd been hearing about Thailand and reading books, the only thing you can do in prison. There are television sets, I never bothered. I tend to find that people in prison who zone out every day, just watch TV, they don't come away with it with a lot, apart from maybe a few muscles from going in the gym. That wasn't for me, as you can see, buoy. But the fact is that when I came out, I was ready then, I was set, but I wanted to see a little bit of the world, and the place I chose to go was Thailand. I came to your beautiful country. I went to Hua Hin, and I fell in love with Hua Hin. Of course, that's where the king lives. I lived just up the road from where the king lives on the beach. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful place. And I spent a couple of years there. Spent a couple of years living in Hua Hin, trying to settle down to write a book. But too many other distractions, going sightseeing, seeing your beautiful islands, Phi Phi, Krabi, Lipe. I was travelling around and just enjoying myself. Then I wanted to see the rest of Southeast Asia, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Philippines. I went and enjoyed all that. It was a fantastic experience after being incarcerated for 8 years in one place. So after that, I left Thailand and I went to Spain, and that's when I started Jacob Law. At first, it was just me. It was a one-man band operation, so much so that any literature I was getting photocopied in an office that didn't even belong to me from next door. But we got through it, and things built and developed. And the harder I worked, the more experience that I got working within the law, the more experience that I got, the more I learned. We're coming back to this, and it's a reoccurring theme. The more I learned through education, albeit a self-education, the more I learned, the better I became at what I did, and the more interested I became in what I did, and the more interested other people became. And that's what makes a successful business. People start talking about you and what you've achieved, what you did for their friends, other clients, you get recommended. The best type of business is repeat business. I'm sure that Ajahn A will confirm that a lot of students that come here go away with high academic results. They're impressed by the place and how well it is and put together. Impressed by the likes of my relative here, Ajahn Peter. And the point being is this: you make a good reputation for yourself, and things work from there. They take a life of their own, and that's what happened for me with Jacob Law. Then I decided to come back to the place I love, my second home. I see it as. I'm even thinking of coming and living back here full time. I love the place so much. So 5 years ago, I came back to Thailand, and I started working with some Thai lawyers. I worked with some of the biggest lawyers in Thailand. I work with Siam Legal in Bangkok, based all over Thailand, but the ones that my office is in Bangkok. We work helping people with all sorts of different problems, whether it's criminal problems, foreigners buying houses over here, who are running into, it's a legal minefield, it's complicated, especially if you're not Thai. So we do a whole range of things now, and I love it here. I love working here, the Thai people, the Thai culture, so much different than the other side of the world where I'm from. Yeah, a little round of applause back to Thailand. I love the place. But as I say, it's all down to education. It all comes down to that, and that's the place you young people are at now. You're here with this great opportunity to learn. Sometimes it's not always easy. Sometimes when I was sat in my cell and I could hear the TV in the place in the cell next door, and he was laughing and there's something funny on, and I'm reading a law book. I was trying to listen to the show next door, but it's not always easy. Sometimes it's tough. Studying takes a lot of dedication, takes a lot of hard work. But what I'm trying to say to you guys is the hard work is worth putting in, and that's all I've got. So that's what I wanted to say.
So what we're going to do is, if it's okay with you, Jason, we're going to take a few questions from the audience. So, one more round of applause for Jason being here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What we're going to do is we're going to take some questions now. So if you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll start with yes. Please, and stand up and...
So they have a question for you. Why you go to criminal?
Yeah, it's a good question, but how I ended up becoming involved in criminality, again, it wasn't this. Listen, I was dissatisfied with a term we use in English, is with the hand I'd been dealt. We're talking about playing cards. You feel, I got a bad hand, I didn't get a fair crack of the whip. It wasn't fair, life didn't treat me fair, why did I have it so tough? And I'm angry, and the way my anger is going to manifest is I'm going to rebel. I'm going to rebel against the system. I got thrown out of the Marines, they shouldn't have done that to me. I grew up in this area, my daddy died when I was 2. And the worst, and the thing with crime is this, it is something that has a life of its own. You go out and start stealing motorbikes, it does seem like the end of the world, but not compared to what I ended up doing. You will gravitate into higher and higher things. In the end, I robbed a bank. So.
ประเด็นคือเจสันคิดว่าชีวิตก็ไม่ยุติธรรมแล้วเขาโมโหแล้วก็เหลือทางผิดนะครับแต่ตอนนี้ก็มีบริษัทมีชื่อเสียงมากทั่วโลกเลยเราเป็นคนไม่ทำอะไรผิดแล้วเนาะโอเค
We've got a young man at the back there.
Hello.
Hello. What's your name?
My name is Brad.
Hello, Bob.
My name is Brad.
We got it.
After you left the prison, from where did you earn money to invest?
I was very lucky. My brother, Aaron, my younger brother, who had been very disappointed in his older brother, rightly so, was supportive of me. Aaron is a very, very successful businessman. By the time I came out of prison, I was able to, I had a good start, I had a good opportunity. If nobody loves you, you get out, you haven't got any family, you haven't got anyone to help you, it's really tough. But I got out and I had a lot of money to invest into a property, which is what he insisted I did with. Go and do what you're going to do with it. If you mess up again, that's your problem.
My name is Sasu and I'm studying in bilingual program year 2. And my question that I want to ask you is about the education. As you said, the Thai student will all here had a good opportunity to get a good future. And I'm confident that you've through so many experiences. So all of us we have dream, but sometimes the dream is so far away to catch. It's so many factors that contribute to us to not go for the dream. So I want to ask you, what is the best thing or the way to get this such a very difficult dream? And sometimes it's like impossible.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I'm not an immigrant. I've just been given a contract. Very excited. I'm on about in the last 2 days. A contract for a really, really big movie deal in the USA. That's going to take my business global. So as far as getting out of Thailand goes getting yourself a permit to be able to travel. I'm going to say it again, educate yourself, get high results, and then you qualify to become, whether it's a lawyer, a doctor, whatever, something professional that entitles you to travel. That much I do know, not that I can give much more about immigration.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, what caused you to choose to study? No, I don't mean studies. I mean what the point that you choose to come to Thailand.
Sorry, you're going to have to forgive me there. Yeah, I lost the question. It's the technology, it's not you. Your English is excellent. What was the question, Peter?
The question basically is what made you come to Thailand?
Well, I've been, and for downtime, because I had no television set, I used to read travel books, and just from reading the books about Thailand, I fell in love with it, and I decided, I knew I was getting out to some money from my brother, and I decided that I was going to spend some of that money travelling and seeing the world. I'd seen nothing except brick walls for 8 years. So I decided I wanted to see, where do I want to see the most? Where's the best place? There's a lot of beautiful places in the world, but from what I'd read about Thai people, Thai culture, people being more gentle, the land of smiles, I could do with seeing a few smiles after I came out of prison, and I decided Thailand's the one for me, and I'm glad I did.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Poi. I'm in BP1. What is the turning point in your life?
Yeah, that's a great question. For me, again, education. Without educating myself, without driving myself to be on the television perhaps, you see it never looks quite as bad as it is. Prison is a dangerous, horrible place. I can't overstress that to you. It's a dangerous, horrible place. Every day when you wake up, you've got to make sure that you're on top of your game. And if you can't fight, well, then you've got other bigger problems. You literally have to defend yourself or be ready to defend yourself every day. Then you're trying to study in that arena, in that type of place. It just makes it a little bit more difficult. I'm not saying that because I'm looking for some more plaudits, although if you want to give me some, that's out for you. But in all seriousness, the turning point was education. It's the turning point. I believe in education it's the thing that can save of so many different problems that we have in the world today. If people, younger people, like in the UK, I don't think so much in Thailand. It's one of the things I love about it. I myself I've never been into narcotics. I'll have a drink of beer, fair enough. I've never been into narcotics. I hope you young people don't ever go down that road. It's the bane of society in England, in the UK, in the USA. That stuff is horrible. It reduces beautiful, strong young people. It reduces them to nothing. It takes away it robs their soul. That's the best way I can describe it.
And my question is, what would you do if you were not in prison?
If I hadn't gone to prison, it's a good question again, because when I said to you earlier on, people who are behaving so badly like I was, if they don't go to prison, they don't just suddenly fix up. What happens is they get worse and worse and worse. I'm going to tell you another story. When I was on remand, and on remand means when you're being in prison, waiting to go to court to see what happens to you. I escaped. It's bad, I think, move like a pal, getting hungry now looking at this. But that's when I first went to prison. There you go. This is a story about when I escaped from a court hearing. So I'm getting taken from the prison to the court, and I decided, as I said to you, I was thinking wrong in those days. I decided, because of my ability to fight, I am going to try and fight my way out of the court building. This is going to feature heavily in the film. The feature film we're making with 20th Century Fox. The big part of the film is going to be the escape. It's very, very unusual. There are 4 security guards. There's a toughened security screen all around you. And I decided that I would beat up the 4 security guards, smash the screen, and then still got to get out of this big building and I don't know which way I'm going. So it's crazy. That's what I'm saying. That's terrible. That's terrible behaviour. But that's the mindset, that's the wrong mindset I had at that time. And the point is, without me getting caught and going to prison, and then being able to educate myself and change, then I'd probably now be dead or serving a long, long, long time in prison.
Hello, Mr. Jason. You said you have a company in Bangkok, Thailand. So I want to know that what is the most problem that you know in Thailand? Yes.
Well, I'll tell you. I'm going to tell you what we do. My business model, for reasons you understand about where I learned the law in prison, what my speciality is criminal defence law. But the lawyers that I work with, they don't just specialise in crime. They deal with conveyancing, contract law, all different types of law. The law's really interesting. It maybe doesn't sound like it when you're very young on the face of it, but it is. People who usually lead the country, your politicians, the top politicians, look at what their previous life was, usually lawyers. But the point is, without the specialist work that I'm doing in Bangkok, being criminal, enough of it being criminal, we're doing more civil litigation. And that means when somebody sues somebody else. The infrastructure, the legal infrastructure in Thailand is improving, and it needs to improve. I say that with all due respect. Don't forget, I love this country. But so many places need to improve. That's all over the world. It's a very, very old system, the law system in Thailand, and it's improving, and that's great. And it's something else, just going aside a little bit, something that's exciting about law and education is that when you're involved in it, you get an opportunity to change things for the better. And there is nothing more exciting than that. If something doesn't work properly, you get involved, you help develop it, and that thing then works better going forward forever, and you were a part of that. That's exciting.
I think a question at the back.
Hello, my name is Amy. I'm studying at 12BP year 1. Okay, my question is, you said you've been bad boy, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah. And was in priors you better and have everything in now, such as company, litigation. Okay.
Right. So, help me out, Pete.
Yeah.
It's the technology, it's not you, so don't feel embarrassed.
Yeah, sorry about that. Can you say that again for me, please? In Thai, you can say in Thai.
โอเคก็เขาบอกว่าเขาเคยเป็นคนที่ไม่ดีแล้วก็เคยทำตัวไม่ดีแล้วอะไรเป็นแรงบันดาลใจที่ทำให้เขามีทุกอย่างในตอนนี้แล้วก็มีชื่อเสียง
Yeah. So what's your inspiration? What gave you the motivation from being a bad boy to being the man you are now and saving us?
You know, that doesn't happen overnight. It's something that develops. I enjoy the nice things in life now. I enjoy a nice home. I love cars. Every lad in here, put your hand up if you're a young man and you love cars.
ถ้าเป็นผู้ชายที่ชอบรถยนต์
Come on.
ไม่มีเหรอ
We've all got our hands up. All the guys.
ใครชอบรถยนต์
Hey, wait there. No, in fact, listen, I'm going to have to apologise. Good talk, Cap. What am I doing? That was very sexist. Good talk. So, put your hand up, everybody, if you love nice cars.
ที่ชอบรถยนต์สวยชอบยกมือเลยนี่แหละ
I love BMWs. I drive a BMW all the time. There's some pictures I think from this. That's the one I've just changed actually. That's an M3. Now I've gone into an M4. There's a Porsche. Yeah. We're struggling. There we go. Yeah. So that's I enjoyed that car, but it was a mistake. If you're a BMW man, you're a BMW man. And I changed it to, I think we got one there, the orange one, the M4, which is really beautiful. Best car I've ever had. I love it. Do all the cleaning of it myself. Won't let anyone else touch my car. But they're the things that I enjoy in life. But look, you don't decide. If you decide all of a sudden, right, I'm going to become a lawyer or a doctor because I want a nice car and a nice home. It won't work. You'll be putting it, you're coming at it from the wrong angle. Being a teacher, being a lawyer, being a doctor, these are what we call a vocation. It's a vocation in life. It's something that you're passionate about. You care enough to put the hours into the education so that you will be able to learn it. Because this is not easy stuff. As I said that to you before, it's tough. Learning is tough. It requires a lot of time, effort, dedication, maybe not going out with your pals, your friends to the mall or the cinema and whatever you miss out on. They're small things. They're small things. And looking back, you'll have a lot more time to go to the mall and the cinema, get a nice car, if you get the hours in now with the education.
Hello, I'm Cheetah from BP2. And in your opinion, what is a success?
Well, it's a good question that. It's a difficult one for me. I think that might be the most difficult one we've had today. Because of the amount of time that I spent in prison, I came out of prison, all that was behind me from when I'm 37. That's a lot of lost time. So now that I've settled and I've built this business isn't something, John A will I'm sure confirm this. When you're running a business, you don't turn up at 9 o'clock and finish at 5. You're first in and you're last out. It's dedication. You've got to be there all the time. You've got to put the work in. That has left me without having any time to do what other normal folk do, other normal people do, and build a family. Now I'm 48 years old. I'm going to lose this belly and stop drinking as much beer maybe. I think we pack a pal. But I'm planning in the next couple of years to find myself a wife and please God, have a couple of kids. And I think then, with a nice home behind me, good business and a family, I think that is what success is. The father's side of the family are Irish, and I'm very proud of that. Put it this way, if England are playing football against Ireland, I'm cheering for Ireland, and I'm usually disappointed. But nevertheless, I'll be honest with you, as you can imagine, I didn't sound like I was an altar boy, did I, when I told you about my growing up? and an altar boy is somebody who serves mass in the church on a Sunday. I lost any type of faith in religion when I was a young guy. I'll tell you something that's interesting about my time in Thailand. My house in Hua Hin is around the corner from a big temple. It's called Chiang Wat. I don't know if you can see my little ring here. These are all elephants. I love elephants, and I spend a lot of time when I'm at my home in Thailand. I go around. I see the monks. I buy a big bag of pineapples or cucumbers or bananas, whatever they're giving me that morning, and I go and feed all the elephants myself. I'm an honorary mahud. I take the elephants then down to the river and we clear them and we mess around and it's great. That's some of the best times I ever have here in Thailand. I love elephants.
Hello, teacher. My name is Beam.
Teacher? Hello? Me, right?
She's nervous. Give her a break.
Sorry.
Never like that.
My question is, how do you feel when you was at the lowest and successfulest point in your life, and what's different things?
So how did I feel at my lowest point? Yeah, I mean, tough question. My lowest point was in prison, of course. You go through some real low points in prison. I don't want to get too deep into it because a lot of it involves abuse. There's a lot of abuse in prison. That's the same all over the world. That abuse usually means beatings and unpleasant things that your young minds don't need to hear about really studying in this nice environment. But yeah, lowest point for me, being abused in prison, not being able to see because it was so many years still in front of me, so many years still to serve. My lowest point was not being able to see the light at the end of the tunnel from what was a very, very, very difficult situation.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello,
Hey.
my name is Bam.
Hello.
I'm in BP1. My question is, the previous 12 years you are in prison, how do you live?
Just about.
Yeah, just about.
You live very simply. Look, there's no way of dressing it up. As much as you might try and, as much as you might see programs on YouTube, I watch them from time to time. I've got to be in the right frame of mind to watch something like that. And it shows you that these places are improving, and gradually maybe they are, but they need to improve a hell of a lot more before they're going to achieve what is essentially the raison d'etre. The reason behind imprisonment is ostensibly, that's supposedly, is to rehabilitate, to take a person who's getting it all wrong, bring him in there, treat him with some respect, show him a better way, and then he goes back into the community and he can start giving something back and leading a good life. That's not what happens in my experience. But in any event, yeah, I lived very simply and very unhappily. Have we got anybody else?
Yeah, she's struggling to stand up.
Hello, my name is EQ.
Oh,
I'm from
BP BP1. My question is, do you have friends in prison and what make you happy in prison and right now?
Friends in prison? I'll tell you, prison's a very, very tough place. It's not the place where everyone's running around, shaking hands, sitting each other down, having a cup of tea. It's not like that. It's too dangerous, people are too volatile. You allow very few people to get next to you. My best friend is still my closest friend today. A guy called Franny. I'm not going to say Fran's second name because he's going to see this video and he might not appreciate it. But the fact is, the loyalty of that beautiful, strong man helped me when I was going through really low times with depression, struggling, and he helped me get through it. So, friends, plural, no. One friend was enough.
Please stand up.
Hi, my name is Sai.
Hello, sir.
My study BP1. My question is, who is the one who in the beside when you are the what?
Right, help me out again here.
Yeah.
Is that my...
One more time. Please say that again.
Who is the one who is the beside when you are the what?
Can you say in Thai? Can you say?
ในช่วงเวลาที่เลวร้ายของคุณใครคือคนที่ถูกข้างคุณคะ
Who's beside you, right? Yeah.
When you get in trouble or if it's weakness, who will be with you? Or yeah.
If you get in trouble in prison,
Yeah, no. I mean in anything with weakness or troubles or anything. Who
Yeah, who's the
oh,
person
okay,
beside
I
you?
understand. Who do I turn to? If I turn to my brother, I'm on dangerous ground because that guy doesn't like the idea of me getting in any more trouble ever. To be honest with you, I kind of suck it up and keep it in. I work it out for myself. But you've got to remember, I led a life where I had to do that. You know, I was in prison. You don't go around in prison sharing your problems. Hey, I'm kind of feeling vulnerable today. Can we sit and talk it through? No, don't say that. No, it's a lonely existence, but it's a life that I led for a long, long time. So yeah, I kind of work it out. But I'm looking forward to what we discussed a few minutes ago when I finally find a wife, if I ever get one that'll put up with me. If I get a wife, then you share things like that. I know that John Peter has a fantastic relationship with his wife, and if he has a tough day at school with you kids, he goes home, tells his wife, and she pats him on the back.
Hello,
Hello.
my name is Yara. I'm studying in BP1. Before you come to Thailand, what do you think about this country?
Well, as I say, before I came here, my only knowledge came from books. A lot of books, unfortunately, in prison are old books. And the older books of Thailand, I enjoy history. So I read about the kings, all the different kings, and I loved how much respect the royal family has here in Thailand. I was very fond of our old king here, very fond of him. I was very sad when he passed away, and we don't have that same. We've got the most famous monarchy in the world in England. They get so much respect all over the world, except in England, and it's unfortunate. Whereas if people were seeing more of them, if they were more accessible, like I love it when I'm driving down the road here and I see a picture of the king, the queen. It's beautiful and it's nice, and it cheers you up a little bit. These are the people that are running the country. And books I read when I talking about our old king, Pete helped me with the pronunciation. The king who's dying. Yeah. He was what an interesting guy. He was educated in France. He enjoyed playing the clarinet. And just and loved animals, and that was something I identified with him. And that's when I started thinking about Buddhism. I started thinking, hey, listen, if there's any religion that I could ever perhaps be committed to, it'd be something that believes in animals and helping one another, because a lot of the stuff I read about when I read about different religions doesn't ever really appeal to me as an individual. But yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Hi, Mr. Jason. My name is Henry. I'm from BP1. I have a question for you. I really want to know how are your life after you came out of the prison?
Well, it was certainly better than it was when I was in prison, but it's been getting better and better. As you can imagine, I've already said I've not got a family at home, but my family is my work. The people I work with, I'm very lucky. They're loyal, they're capable, they love me, they look after me. We all look after each other. That's important, and yeah. That's what I've got.
Hello, Jason. My name is Pasi.
Hi, Pasi.
I'm studying in BP1. My question: when you are down, how do you take care of your mind?
When you are down, how do you take care of your mind?
Yeah, when I'm down, I'll tell you what I'm going to start doing. And this is a relatively new decision, which, I joked before a little bit about being bumpy, but you've got to remember, before that, in my previous life, I'm talking about being a boxer, I was a Royal Marine soldier, I've always been fit. And it's lately, the amount of time spent at work and being at work is being sat down, and maybe I like to eat too much as well. So I'm going to start exercising. I want to start doing more exercise. I bought myself a bicycle at Christmas. I've not used it yet. But when I get back to Spain, I'm going to start using the bike, getting in the gym a little bit. I think it helps people. From what I hear, we'll find out.
ถ้ารู้สึกไม่สบายใจก็ออกกำลังกายดีที่สุด Okay, one or two more questions.
I'm from IVM Year 2. I'm Bangmo. Since you are a successful businessman, what is the greatest sharing of have right now? You have get sharing right now.
What?
Sharing right now.
Oh, challenges. Right?
Yes, successfully.
I'm glad you've asked me that, because at Jacob Law, some of the work we do isn't all paid work. It is a commercial business. All our clients are private clients, and they must pay for our services. They get the best service. The lawyers I work with are the #1 lawyers. I should mention that in 8 years, I'm very proud of this, we have got a 100% success rate. Every case that we've ever defended, we've won. And that is unparalleled. But why it's unparalleled is because a lot of lawyers, to build up their fees, they give wrong advice to clients. They tell a client they should pursue the case go to trial, when that's not the best advice. If I look at a case, I assess it, I sort of give it a percentage of success. If I don't think that that case can realistically succeed, then I do what's right for the client. I explain why, I tell them it's their choice, it's up to them. But because of my experience, because of what I've been through, the amount of respect the clients usually have for me, then they go with what I advise. But every case I've already said, let's defend this, I believe in your innocence, and I'm sure that I can prove it, we've won.
My name is Boy. I'm from English BP1. Okay. Since you have money, how do you manage it in the future?
ขอภาษาอังกฤษได้ไหม Just kidding, just kidding.
He said that
Since you have money,
how you manage
how do you manage your money, right? Okay.
how manage money?
Yeah, sure, I mean, I thought he was going to ask me to lend some, man. In England, we never discuss one another's money, but nevertheless, it's a fair question because the company money is a proportion of that money already does support charities like UNICEF, which is a global charity. I enjoy supporting charities, but now I'm starting two charities for myself. In deprived areas, as I mentioned earlier, kids have less opportunities. They need to have the government are withdrawing too much money from youth clubs, centres for young kids to go to, so that they can have an opportunity to do something other than just hang out on the streets, start looking for trouble, maybe getting into trouble young. So what I'm doing is I'm starting these two charities, one in Spain, one in the UK, and if what I've been talking to Peter about recently, if I do get back to Thailand, then of course I'll be starting a similar charity in Thailand. That is where I'll be spending a lot of company money to get these things moving.
I want to explain this in Thai. I don't know why. Is that Jason เขามีมูลนิธินะครับแล้วเขาบริจาคเงินมีUNICEF ด้วยUNICEF เขาสนับสนุนแต่เขาบริจาคเยอะสำหรับเด็กๆที่ไม่มีที่อังกฤษแล้วที่สเปนด้วยครับผมโอเค and ลูกแก้ว one question
Hello, it's me again.
Hey.
Luca from BP2/2.
I remember you.
I have another question for you. I want to ask, what would you say or advise to the children or young people who can't see any open doors to get out of their problems anymore? So they are decided to commit crimes to get out of their problems or to get away from the problems.
Yeah, I'm glad you've asked that. Look, I'm going to tell you, look, I hope it's obvious from my story. Look, I started low-level crime, and then it went up to bank robbery. It doesn't really get any more serious than going robbing banks. Robbing banks is disgusting. I don't want to talk about it too much. It's 25 years ago. It's a long time. That's a lifetime. You young people are not even 25 yet. But that is definitely not the right way for a person who's capable, who's got a good mind, especially anybody in here. I will not be happy if I find out anybody in this room has started committing crimes. I'll be back. But I'm telling you seriously, crime is never going to solve your problems. You're only going to dig a bigger hole for yourself. The right way to solve problems is to sit down, suck it up, be a tough guy, and get to the books. Start trying to educate yourself out of it. It might be that you're studying something, for example, that's not right for you and it's not making you happy. Talk to one of the Ajahns. Talk to Ajahn Peter. You've got a great principle, Ajahn Ed. Speak to somebody about it. Don't suffer in silence, because you're not going to put everything into your studies. Change your course if you need to do that. I hope I've not spoken out to it. But that's my advice. Crime, no.
If you have opportunity to change your career, then what career do you want to do?
If I change from what I'm doing now, I'll tell you, and this is something significant, and I'm not going to take the credit for this. It was something that Ajahn Peter said only the other night. If you find something that you love to do, you will never work another hard day in your life. I will work and be the director, owner, tea boy, everything, whatever it takes. I will always work at Jacob Law until I die. And because I'm the boss, I don't have to retire.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Ken. I'm studying in BP 2/1. What is the best thing in your life?
There is so much fulfillment when you defend a case, when somebody puts their life literally in your hands, and you look at the case, you look at the evidence, you decide, I'm going to step in, I believe in this guy, and I'm going to fight for him, I'm going to work as hard as I can to prove this person's innocence. I can't tell you. I can't tell you the feeling. Listen, you saw my film maybe, and if you didn't, maybe you will see it going forward. I'm a right crybaby. When I got young Bradley out in the film, and we took him from court straight back to his young wife and his baby, his small baby, I was wiping a tear away. That's tears of joy. That is genuine satisfaction. That's the best thing in my life. Even better than my BMW M4.
Again, I'm sorry for the question. I'm sorry for the first question that I asked you a bit weird. The question that I really want to ask you is, why did you choose to rob a bank instead of doing something else?
Because I was a dummy. It's a silly thing to do. The point is this. Without getting too much into criminality, I know you're asking out of interest, at least I hope you are, but the point is, when in criminality in those days, I'm going to say it again, 25 years ago, long time, but criminality, the height of criminality in those days was seen as a bank robber. That is something that we still see a lot of now with films that are made on television. I don't like them. I don't like them films. I think they glorify crime. They don't show the effects of a normal person who's just working in a bank or maybe in the bank paying some bills. Just a normal person being terrified by somebody running in with a mask pointing a weapon. That is a disgusting way to behave. So why I decided it is because at that time in my life, I was just getting it done.
Sorry.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Jason. My name is Ness. I'm studying in BP1. My question is, what was its lowest point in life except for prison?
Lowest point except for prison. Well, it's funny you should ask because it happened not long ago. When I was talking about I go down to the river with the elephants and we clean them, you've got to be careful. Remember what these things are. And they're so sure-footed. You watch elephants the way they climb mountains. You wouldn't believe such a massive animal can do that. But they're sure-footed when they can see. This one couldn't see, and he stood on my foot when we were in the lake. That was a low point. But that's how I got really. Prison was a low point. Apart from that, they're all just normal things. I hurt my foot the other night when I was out with the giant Peter. Stumbled on some stairs. I'm limping a bit today. Listen, these are all what we call luxury problems. Problems that we all have to encounter every day, and it's about how we deal with them. How we deal with them, we suck them up, we be a tough guy, we pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and we move on. I believe that's it with the questions, and I want to thank each and every one of you for coming today, and so when you can.
Yeah, I want to say thank you again, Jason, for agreeing to come along today and meet us all. The students are very happy to see you today and be part of this talk, and I hope they got something valuable from it. The one thing I want to say is that when I saw Jason's film, I was really inspired. Inspired so much so that I made all my students sit down and watch the documentary because I thought it was a very powerful message. So again, from all of us, we just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you so much.
So yeah, one word that I can say, thank you very much, okay, for sharing your experience for our kids. And if you remember, right, your guys diploma year 2 was talking with you already on Skype, and right now today he's in here. So clap your hand again, okay? Big clap. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for having me, Ajahn.
Well, Jason, your story is a remarkable story.
Thank you, sir.
It's an enlightening story, and it is an uplifting story. It's a story I believe all of us can easily identify with. You're here to show salvation from the worst that could have been. Many of these students here are dabbling in lifestyles that may not take them to salvation. And I think hearing your talk today, learning what you have done and how you did it, will convince some of them that hope lies in knowledge, and knowledge lies in education. Thank you for that message.
Hi, I'm Robert. I'm going to definitely be checking a lot of the work and notes that they've done. I want to make sure they understood everything you've done because it is an important message. And I can't wait to see your new movie. I watched your documentary, fantastic. And you're releasing a book?
Yeah, I'm writing a book. It's going very well. I want to release the book for commercial reasons on the back of the film. So that gives me a little bit more breathing space to finish writing. In the meantime, there's some other stuff we're working on. As I say, I've just got a new contract for a show which is Fox. It's been described as The Sopranos, the new Sopranos. The difference is it's called Mob King. So if you Google Mob King, it'll come up. And the guy who owns it did 19 years in prison. He's the lead actor, and he's contacting people from around the world who are authentic.
Yeah, that's what you want.
He's
You want to be
contacted
authentic
me.
because that's a true story.
Absolutely. He wants authenticity. There's so many crime shows, but the general public don't know that because they can't look at it with a critical eye. But people who have been through it like I have, like he has, we look at it and think, what's a lot of nonsense. I'm going to give you an example, Prison Break. It's mostly girls who like it because you've got some handsome young guys in there. Fair enough. But this is going to be different. There is a pilot episode. It's all available on YouTube. And basically, I've been invited to play a tough guy, criminal defence lawyer, and I think I fit the bill.
Yes, you do. Okay. I'll speak to you again later.
Cheers.
Thank you. Okay.